Hello and welcome to Izmit, Turkey. My name is Nate Hovey and I'm going to be your tour guide for today, showing you around this very historical part of Anatolia. Now we're about 90 kilometers east of Istanbul, but this city has layers upon layers of history still waiting to be discovered. Izmit was once known as Nicomedia, dates back to around 2,500 years ago during the Hellenistic period, and served as one of the four great pillars of the Roman Empire. I want to show you around today some of the amazing sites that are hidden throughout this city and the potential that this city has in terms of its archaeological treasures. As one of Turkey's primary industrial centers at the eastern tip of the Marmara Sea, Izmit today plays a vital role in international trade and manufacturing. It is the capital city of Kocaeli province, a region that is home to nearly 1.5 million residents and extends as far north as the Black Sea. The real wealth of the city, which has yet to be realized, rests in its vast archaeological treasures and much forgotten past. The natural beauty, strategic location, and abundant resources of Kocaeli have made it an ideal location for settlement throughout history. 2,000 years ago, this place was known as Nicomedia. It was one of the most prosperous and richly decorated cities in the eastern Mediterranean region for more than 6 centuries. It was founded by King Nicomedes I in 264 BC as the capital of Bithynia, a kingdom that once occupied present-day northwestern Turkey. Many years later, in 74 BC, King Nicomedes IV bequeathed Nicomedia to the Roman Empire. Seeing great potential in this strategically positioned kingdom at the crossroads of Asia and Europe, Emperor Diocletian made Nicomedia the capital of the Eastern Roman Empire in 286 AD. The most beautiful imperial buildings, sculptures, temples, and many more structures of grandeur were built by him. The people of Nicomedia worshipped many gods, and it was during Diocletian's reign that thousands of Christians were persecuted and violently martyred for practicing their beliefs. Here, a large marble stone discovered in a downtown Izmit neighborhood is engraved with Diocletian's praises for what a fantastic job his governors and officers were doing concerning the elimination of the Christians. All of this changed in 311 AD, when the Edict of Toleration by Galerius effectively ended Diocletian's persecution of the Christians, and formally declared Christianity to be a religion that was accepted by the Roman law and state. Today, much of ancient Nicomedia lies hidden beneath layers of soil and a modern city continuously building on itself. Because this region sits on the highly active North Anatolian fault line, many earthquakes have destroyed and buried the great Nicomedean buildings and ancient artifacts. With each effort to rebuild and excavate, wonderful marble sculptures and hidden archaeological treasures have been found. St. Barbara's Tower rests on what is believed to be the northeastern corner of the ancient city wall of Nicomedia. Remnants of the fortification can be seen next to modern apartment buildings and cafes. Legend tells us that her father, a Roman governor of Nicomedia, imprisoned her in a tower because of her devout Christian beliefs. As part of the Christian purge in the Eastern Roman Empire, Emperor Diocletian later ordered St. Barbara's father to behead her. Upon killing his own daughter, he was struck by lightning and his body turned into ashes. Thus, St. Barbara became the patron saint of gunners, miners, and artillerymen. Based on this legend, she was accepted as one of the martyrs of Nicomedia and Bithynia, and the tower became her lasting emblem. 45 cities and 34 geographic landscapes around the world are named after her. On December 4th, the members of the Orthodox Church come to the tower to commemorate her day. On the hillside overlooking Izmit, ruins from the ancient theater of Nicomedia reveal only a trace of what this architectural marvel must have been like when it was constructed around 200 BC, likely near the end of the Hellenistic period. Portions of the orchestra pit, arched theater entrance, and expansive seating area can be observed, though recent development has hidden or damaged many other parts of the theater. A place that is very important to cultural inheritance is a well-preserved 2,000-year-old Roman tunnel that extends approximately 2 kilometers between the ancient theater and the Sea of Marmara. It has survived time and nature, including many terrible earthquakes. It likely served as a tunnel of escape for Roman emperors, their families, and government officials. Today, the tunnel can only be accessed through the basement of a privately owned apartment complex. Above ground, Izmit boasts many other ancient artifacts and Nicomedian treasures that are surprisingly widely unknown. Walking through the woods just north of the city, you come across this Roman aqueduct, dating to approximately the 2nd century AD. It is estimated that this runs for about 3 kilometers, now most of it underground, but this aqueduct is still intact. In fact, at the top, there is still a trail connecting one neighborhood with the next. It's interesting to note that Izmit has a number of Roman passageways that are still used to transport water to its citizens. Roman artifacts and building ruins, dating back to the rule of Emperor Diocletian, were discovered in the 1930s along the ancient shoreline of the Marmara Sea. It is believed that shipping and trade facilities once occupied this area of what could have been the Forum of Nicomedia. Some of the most beautiful Roman statues from recent excavations throughout the city can be found at the Museum of Archaeology and Ethnography. A number of artifacts on display have been discovered here, just a few miles away. This is believed to be a small section of Emperor Diocletian's palace. Because of increasing urbanization and the density of residential buildings in the city center, it is very difficult to carry out further excavations. Like many places in Izmit, there is a lot that has yet to be uncovered about the ancient city of Nicomedia. For example, I'm sitting directly across from one of the major freeways in this city on what is believed to be a cemetery dating back to approximately the 3rd century AD. Many pieces of Roman architecture are scattered around this area, and directly behind me, this may have been a church, and to my left, a place where bodies were once prepared. Now, not a lot is known on top of that because little excavation and archaeological work has been done in places like this, and there are treasures that remain underneath, yet waiting to be discovered. Originally built in 1892, the mansion of Siri Pasha is one of Izmit's most prized buildings. The 4-story mansion was recently restored by the municipality and serves as an excellent example of Ottoman architecture and interior design. Outside of Izmit, in other parts of Kocaeli province, there are several sites tucked away in the rolling green hills with great historical significance. In the fields bordering a small town in the Yerimja district of Kocaeli, a Roman sarcophagus dating back nearly 2,000 years reveals an amazing inscription that can still be read on the south side of the stone coffin. 8 lines of Greek writing reveal that the sarcophagus contains the remains of a woman named Octavia, and she warns that anyone who attempts to steal anything from her resting place will have to pay a specific fine to Roman officials. Scattered along the roadside and back porches of homes near Octavia's sarcophagus, there are a number of Roman artifacts and piles of rubble. Like many places in this region, ancient stones and sturdy columns have been collected by residents for their own personal use. Located approximately 40 kilometers away from the town of Izmit, we come across a 2,000-year-old Roman bridge. Now, this was likely constructed during the 1st century AD, and today it stands right next to one of the factories producing gravel. Yet the history remains of this road leading from the ancient city of Nicomedia to Istanbul. According to legend, Theodora crossed this bridge on her way to see St. Barbara. Now, this bridge was also used on the currency used during the reign of Claudius, and today it remains as one of the leading examples of Roman architecture still intact in this part of Turkey. Amazing, isn't it? Located in Gebze at the western edge of Kocaeli province, Eski Hisar Castle sits on the hill overlooking the primary passageway into the Izmit Bay. While some historians believe parts of the fortress were constructed in the 2nd century BC, it is believed that the fort dates to the Byzantine period. I'm now standing at the memorial of one of the greatest military tacticians in history. Hannibal Barca was born in Africa in 247 BC and later became the commander of the Carthaginian Empire during the Punic Wars. It is reported that he fled to Nicomedia after being exiled by the Romans and committed suicide in 183 BC instead of surrendering to the Romans. Today, this memorial commemorates his efforts, and supposedly, Hannibal's body is buried directly under this site. During the construction of the Izmit-Yalova Highway along the southern shore of the Gulf of Izmit in the 1960s, workers stumbled across a Roman sarcophagus dating back to the 2nd century AD. Supposedly, the tomb was raided for treasures. The bones were considered valueless and thrown away. The tomb was left on the side of the freeway, accompanied by a small plastic plaque, and no further excavations have been carried out in the vicinity. Though Pishman can't be accredited to the Romans, like so many other treasures in Kocaeli, this special Izmit suite can still be traced back to the late Middle Ages, over 550 years ago. It is said that before he conquered Istanbul, Fatih Sultan Mehmet had been making Pishman with his family. While the ingredients are simple, mostly consisting of pulled sugar, flour, and butter, it is a very difficult art, one that used to be carried out entirely by hand. Interestingly enough, the meaning of the sweet is regret, and it is said that it was named this because sometimes one might not always succeed in making it. Inside the İpek Pishman factory, the process starts with water and sugar being mixed and heated up until a thick syrup is formed. The honey-colored mixture is slowly poured out and spread across large metal tables for cooling. After just a few minutes, the hardened taffy-like substance is pulled and stretched around an elevated metal bar until it becomes lighter in color and more elastic. It's then passed on to workers who place the candy into a massive circular pan, mix it with dough, and repeatedly pull it outward into a ring shape using specially designed stretching machines. Back in the old days, this all used to be done by hand. Once the candy develops a soft cotton candy-like texture, the elongated strands are cut into much smaller pieces. Finally, the sugary powder is pressed together, cut into bite-sized pieces, sprinkled with assorted toppings, and then packaged and shipped throughout Turkey. It goes without saying that this Izmit delight is a great taste of history, one that is definitely a personal favorite of mine. Izmit truly is an amazing place, boasting an ever-expanding city, beautiful natural landscapes, a deeply rooted culture, traditional music, tasty sweets, and industrial innovation. Yet, the prime feature of this region has been all but forgotten. Izmit is quite literally sitting on top of a city of countless archaeological treasures, many of which have yet to be discovered. It was here that Nicomedia once stood as one of the 4 largest and most prosperous cities of the Roman Empire. Travelers and writers recorded the sheer splendor of this Far Eastern destination, one that almost seemed to rival the majesty of Rome itself. Though earthquakes and recent development projects in Izmit have significantly damaged and buried much of the city's remarkable past, existing artifacts and ongoing excavations provide valuable clues about the history, culture, and people of Nicomedia. In many ways, Izmit is Turkey's best-kept secret, one that's just waiting to be revealed to the world.